Yeah, welcome back to DXB today. Hope you're enjoying the show and I hope you're enjoying your day or your evening as it is now, of course. I hope you're enjoying the designs here in Dubai. We're celebrating all things Dubai as Dubai Design Week kicked off a little earlier on today. So with us now, two men who know all too well, two architects and the creative minds behind Design Studio, the award-winning Design Studio, Some Kind of Practice, recently won the Dubai Design Week Urban Commission 2025. Please welcome Abdulla Abbas and Omar Darwish, the creatives behind the brand. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Omar, I'm going to start with you if I can. Congratulations, first and foremost, on the recognition. You, of course, are a registered architect, but also researcher and curator in this field as well. You were given the theme courtyard. What was the response?
So the response was between me and Abdulla at the beginning. We wanted to move away from the cliche of a courtyard is just an empty space in the middle of a building. It's more than that, specifically for the UAE. So the first two things we did, which is what we always do in Some Kind of Practice, is we went for archival research and for field work. Yeah. So we went through the archives at the National Archives in Abu Dhabi, and we went through multiple courtyards all across the Emirates. And then we did a bunch of field work across the Emirates, but working with the three biomes of the Emirates, which is the coastal, the mountainous, and the desert, and looking at courtyards from there. And basically from that field work and archival research, we extracted what that basically informed us what to do with the courtyard.
Amazing.
Abdulla, I wanted to ask you, as architects showcasing your vision on an international stage, what does that do for architects in the design community here in the UAE, would you say?
Yeah, so similar to what Omar was mentioning, our practice is very rooted in research and uncovering new things. So platforms like Dubai Design Week and Urban Commissions allow for these stories to be told, for us to answer questions, to explore new ideas, but also to engage with the public and the community, to teach. So what we like to do is, rather than just designing purely based on aesthetics and because things look good, we want to tell a story, similar to what Natasha was mentioning earlier, and we want to explore new ideas.
Omar, how would you like people to engage with your installation when it comes to Design Week now that it's opened up to the public?
I think one thing that we had the intention of when we were choosing the materials, choosing how they were being built and how they were being stacked, is to basically show the visitor that you don't have to recreate the past by being too literal with it, that you can work with what's given right now. And basically the way the pavilion is built is that all of the materials that you're finding, none of them have been custom made for this specific pavilion. They're all bought off the shelf in industrial areas of Dubai and the UAE. And we're just showing you using such materials in assembly or even in the material itself, how reassembling it and reconfiguring it can do the same things of the past to deal with climate, but then create a space that's rooted. It doesn't have to be a recreation of the past, literally.
Amazing. For both of you, I want to know, obviously competitions like urban commissions are set up to obviously sometimes challenge the designers. So I want to know, was there any challenges that you faced during the process and how did you overcome it?
I mean, in terms of challenges, so what Omar and I did is with our design, we developed these parameters. So there are parameters in terms of staying true to the research and all the information that we've uncovered. But also, of course, the functional and the practical aspects also have to comply with Dubai municipality and D3 standards as well. So luckily what we had done, especially materially as well, we developed a very flexible system. So we could propose multiple schemes and all of them would work. It's not one specific design, but still within our parameters, we were able to adjust our design based on, for example, weight loads, for example, height constraints, but even material flexibilities. But we, of course, tried to stay as true as possible to our materials and not compromise too much on design.
Omar, you'd agree?
Yeah, well, that was the main concern, which is when you're proposing a specific material and you want the material to be true to itself. And as Abdullah said, because we built it in such a flexible format that it's not like we believe that the build should not be tied to a specific program, and that would allow it to be more flexible over time.
It's a really interesting point you make, Abdulla. I hadn't really thought about it, because I think of the design landscape here as being limitless, as almost being, you know, a blank canvas for a lot of architects, for a lot of designers as well. But when you're working in public realm spaces, and the restrictions you're within that, and the sort of things that the boxes you must tick as well, how do you sort of see that space evolving, especially in such a quick-paced city like Dubai, and a city here that things are changing all the time as well? Is that going to be one of the sort of challenges for architects moving forward to work in public spaces?
Yeah, I think it definitely will. But of course, as architects, we have to adapt. But I think the way we approached it in a way is we do not want to let things like that dictate the design.
Right.
So setting up those parameters early on about things that are musts. We need to preserve certain heights. We need to preserve certain materials, and not letting things like that impact the design outcome too much. But yeah, so in this year when we're looking at courtyards, we are looking, of course, at what courtyards were historically, functionally, practically, materially. So those things are the main things. It's not how big a space is, that's flexible. It's not how tall it is, that's also flexible. But maintaining things like that, what makes a courtyard a courtyard? We talk about issues like the Liwan. Programmatically, the courtyard is a very flexible space. So we want throughout the design week, every single day, we have different events and different programs that will come to take place that will transform the space. We didn't want to enforce a certain furniture layout, for example, that's fixed and rigid and isn't going to change. So stuff like that, I think if you set it up early in the design process, it will make your life a lot easier later on.
Omar, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the theme is courtyard. So my first question to you is, I have two parts. My first question is, were you excited about the theme, or did it make you nervous? Did you find it challenging? And if you could pick your own theme the next time, what would it be?
I think, no, when we saw courtyards, we took it not as a challenge, but we want to prove a point. That the courtyard is not what everyone might think it is. It's not what everyone fantasizes of what a courtyard should be. And that the UAE's courtyards are not the same of the courtyards in Egypt, Syria, and Saudi Arabia. There's a specific way. And the courtyard in the UAE comes out of need. It wasn't designed as we want to have a courtyard in our house, and then we get a courtyard. It comes over time. I think if there was a theme that we would want to have was maybe like a theme just based on field work. I think field work in the UAE and what that might inform you in practice in general. Like, one thing we believe, a lot of people who practice maybe in the UAE would think that there's not a lot of references to start or to design from the UAE. But what we've done in this project and what we've done in some kind of practice is, with every single project, we either go through the archives or we go drive around, and that tells us what to do. So that would be the next theme, I think. Field work to inform.
Show directors listening.
Noted.
Well, Omar, Abdulla, it's been a pleasure speaking to you both. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of DXB Today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.